So I turned my side hustle into my full-time income almost 2 years ago now. So that's been 2 years of trying to find income streams online, trying to build what I've already started, which I started on the side when I was working. And the last 2 years I've been completely living off of my side hustles, off of my online income. And so in this video, what I wanted to do was just take you through what the last year looked like in terms of my online income from creating books, from making YouTube videos, and a few other things here in the UK. So I've got my notebook. I'm going to take you through my 2025 online income. Just before we get going though, I just want to take you through how I make my money. So I make books and sell them on Amazon KDP. To do that, I need to make the book cover, I need to make the interior, and then I also need to do any additional kind of marketing, graphic design, all those kind of things. Then I can self-publish them through Amazon, and then Amazon fulfills, prints, ships, does all that kind of stuff. So all I need to do is upload the files and then market the books. That's my self-publishing income. And then I also make YouTube content, and then there's loads attached to that as well, which we'll come on to in a minute. So my main YouTube channel is called Self-Publishing Empire. I've got almost 35,000 people over there where I give advice, I share how-to videos, I share my advertising tips, all those kind of things. And I've got quite an active and engaged audience over there, which is absolutely brilliant. So one thing I would suggest, if you're watching this video thinking, you know, I quite like the sound of that, I'd quite like to build an online community and make some additional money online, I think having a passion, having something that you're really good at, passionate about, whatever it may be, try and hone into that area and, you know, test making some videos. This is my second YouTube channel where I'm going a little bit broader. I'm not just talking about book publishing, I'm also talking about YouTube content, about my life, loads of things. As I turned 40 recently, and I thought, hey, it'd be interesting, at least to me, to just share my life, share what I learned in my 40s as I'm trying to make income online. So let's get into the figures, and how this works is this is taken from my QuickBooks account, which is where I track all of my finances. And so I'm going to take you through the income, then we're going to go through the expenses, and then right at the end, I'll show you my take-home profit, which will be pre-tax here in the UK. Then what I would have to do is I'd have to do a self-assessment, and the government would tell me how much tax I owe them. So let's get into 2025 as an online content creator and book publisher. So Amazon KDP, for 2025 in income, I made £40,932. So that's a pretty good amount of money. But the downside with Amazon KDP is you do need to spend quite a lot on advertising just to get those kind of sales, whether that's directly through Amazon ads or whether it's through, you know, influencer outreach. Unfortunately, if you're making books and not really marketing them in any way, you're not going to get many sales. So the reason why I've been able to make over £40,000 in book sales is because I'm spending quite a large amount on advertising as well. Then my ads, which is my main expense over on Amazon KDP, for the year was £15,722. That just lets us work out the direct profit for KDP. So 2025 Amazon KDP profit here in the UK was £25,210. So I think that's around sort of minimum wage, you know, which isn't bad from just publishing books. So really happy with that, 25k in the year through my Amazon KDP side of my business. But that probably shows you why I need additional streams, right? Because if I just had that one income stream, you know, it's not really enough for me to live on. I need some additional money coming in. I think if I was just doing Amazon KDP, I'd probably need a full-time job and then do that on the side. But with YouTube, with some additional income streams, it allows me to do this full-time. So let's go into YouTube next. And on YouTube, I publish probably once or twice every single week. And I've been doing that now for several years. So the way you earn money on YouTube is Google will pay you for them running ads on your content. And that's the way you can earn direct money through YouTube. So we'll go through that first. So my YouTube AdSense for 2025 was £5,454. So that's for a channel that has around 35,000 subscribers. Now over on YouTube, the thing that matters actually once you're monetized is your views. To be honest, your subscribers don't really matter after you pass that 1,000 threshold. And the only reason they really do matter is just to give you a little bit of gravitas. And when you're talking to brands to get sponsorship deals, obviously it helps to have more subscribers. But the important thing for AdSense is views. So almost £5,500 from Google directly through my YouTube videos. Then in terms of sponsorships, so the benefit of sponsorships is you're working directly with brands to incorporate them into your videos or do sponsored videos, create sponsored content, all those kind of things. And I think that's possible when you have a niche and you're, I don't want to call myself an industry leader, but like you're up there with maybe the top 50 people that's talking about your kind of content. So with self-publishing, with Amazon KDP, I'd say that maybe I'm in the top 10, top 20 YouTubers within that area, just looking at kind of subscribers and the amount of videos I put out and those kind of things. And so because of that, because I've kind of got that, I say gravitas again, just because people will listen to me based on my experiences and I'm really transparent with my income and all those kind of things, brands that exist in that kind of self-publishing space like to work with me. And that has allowed me to make £19,673 for the year through sponsored videos. And so it's tricky, right? Because the sponsored video income is really, really good, but you have to find a balance. You have to make enough informative, educational videos so that your viewers, are still engaged with this channel, still want to watch your videos, still love what you do. But then you also want to try and like filter in some sponsored content because, that keeps a roof over my head. But yeah, sponsored video content over on YouTube, it's amazing. Almost £20,000 from just 35,000 subscribers. So if you're just getting going on YouTube, those kind of figures are realistic. You can make decent money from YouTube sponsorships. Some of these are some kind of longer ongoing partnerships where I've gained trust. A lot of the one-off videos tend to be a bit cheaper. But yeah, I can't give you too much more information than that because of my sponsors, but a very, very, very good amount of money through YouTube. Then just looking at some expenses, my only real expense for YouTube were some pieces of kit that I bought, as well as some additional things which we'll come on to in a little bit, like Adobe software. But in terms of my expenses directly to YouTube, I bought some more kit this year, I bought some new lights, and those come to £932. That was also for this new phone. So, that's not that much in terms of expenses, right? £932 is not a lot to run my YouTube channel. And so the profit from YouTube for 2025 was £24,195. Pretty much up there with my Amazon KDP income. So that's why those are my two main income streams, and together they make a full-time salary. I've just got a few additional things to go through, some additional smaller income streams, and then I'll get into my final take-home profit. So I also share some affiliate links on my videos. Let's say I do a walkthrough of how to make a word search book and I use a tool for that. I'll share the tool down below as an affiliate link, and then if someone signs up to that, I will then get, I don't know, like a few dollars. That doesn't sound like a lot, but over time, especially if it's done organically in a way where I'm not just pushing links out there, it can add up. And in 2025, through my affiliates, I made £3,337. I like that. It's just an extra little income. I'm offering all of this content for free and I don't run any paid courses or anything like that. So this is how I like to get just a little bit more income on the side. So instead of someone buying me a coffee or sending a tip on YouTube or anything, I just ask that if they want to sign up, they use my affiliate link, and then that helps me out a little bit and no one has to pay any extra money, which is fantastic. I also have an Etsy store where I sell some digital products. I don't really do too much over there, but in 2025, I made £312. I might try and build that up a little bit more in 2026 because the more income streams are better, as you can see here, but I do find Etsy quite challenging, and I think it suits people who are a little bit more crafty, a little bit more hands-on and personalized, rather than selling, just bulk upload digital products. So Etsy is an area that I'll consider where I can move to in 2026. But at the moment, it's just providing a little bit extra income. I'm on something called the Amazon Influencer Program, and that's where whenever I buy anything, I just upload a video review to it on Amazon, And then if someone's interested in buying something, they'll scroll down, they might see a video. Some of these products have video carousels on them. And so if my video appears there, which is completely at Amazon's discretion, if someone watches that video and then buys a product, I'll get a very small fee, normally 1%, 2%, 3%, depending on the area. And what's great about that is I've got a fridge, I've got an oven, I've got some kind of like higher price point items. So whilst 1% of £5 doesn't sound like a lot, 1 or 2% of £500 is a little bit more, right? So that's where Amazon Influencer comes in. It's really useful to review the bigger items and more expensive items, which I don't really have many of, but as I do purchase a new dishwasher, a new oven, I make sure to do reviews. And in 2025, Amazon Influencer has made me £1,966. So almost 2K just from doing little video reviews, a bit like this one, where I would just point at a product, say this pen, I'd talk about the pen, say what the pen includes, what it offers, have a close look, do a test. And you know, that might only be a 60, 90-second video, but just uploading those over time, it's just a little extra thing I do, and it does bring in a little bit of extra income. Then I've got one final thing, which I'm hopefully going to do more of in 2026, and that's my consultation work. Because I'm doing well over on Amazon KDP and building that over time, I also link to my consultations. So I have a website called publishwithme.com where someone can book a consultation with me and speak around Amazon KDP. So I do not push these very hard. They're literally just there if someone needs help. So generally I like to do one and done. You know, I'm not trying to get people to sign up for 12 months of consultation. It's just if someone needs help getting going, if they're struggling a little bit with their ads or the formatting or whatever it may be, I just say to people, if you want to jump on a call with me, you can do, here's the link. And then in 2025, that has made me £2,809. So almost 3K from my consultations. Hopefully that will continue going, maybe increase a little bit in 2026. But as mentioned, I'm not pushing it very hard. It's just an additional way for my viewers to get help if they need it. I've got a few other expenses to list, and then we're going to get into the final figure. So some other expenses include some AI tools that I use for things like covers, interiors, ChatGPT for assistance. I've got a few extra tools I use like BookBolt for puzzle generations. I have my website. I bought a new PC. I did some gigs on Fiverr for translation so I could launch some books over in Germany. And I also pay QuickBooks a monthly fee. So all those together come to £1,882 for the year in terms of additional expenses that I need to pay to keep my business going. So putting that all together, this is not the figure that's going to go to the tax man because there's a few extra things I can include, like half of my phone bill, some additional things that I've bought over the year. But my take-home salary for 2025 pre-tax was £55,947. After tax, that's approximately around £42,000. So £57,000, that's pretty good going, right? You know, that's just from creating online content, creating books. I do it full time, so Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. I work Saturdays and Sundays sometimes, but because I work for myself, I get to choose my own schedule. I might take a Tuesday off and then work Saturday. I might only work 2 days one week, but then 7 days the next week to catch up. That's the beautiful thing of being your own boss, creating your own content. And as you can see there, 57,000 odd pounds, it's a good salary here in the UK. I don't know what that is, maybe around $70,000. It might not seem quite so high for people in the US because I think the living expenses and stuff like that are a little bit more out there. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. My aim for 2026 is to get above 60,000, maybe even closer to 65 if I can, because when I get to that point, I'll feel a lot more comfortable. The risks with online content, doing this kind of stuff full time, is it can fluctuate massively. Let's say one of my sponsors decides they don't want to do any more videos, then that money goes away. Let's say one of my books stops selling over on Amazon, then that money goes away. But then on the flip side, there's every potential that something can explode and become amazing. You know, one of my videos could take off on YouTube, and that means I get more money from Google AdSense. I could create a viral video around a new tool and then I could get loads more affiliate income. And then on KDP, I could make a new bestseller and then just get loads more money over on Amazon for my book publishing. So There's lots of positives around doing this kind of stuff for yourself, and then the drawback is the kind of uncertainty and the inconsistencies. But having done this now for a couple of years, I wouldn't want it any other way. I hope this video was useful, just me waffling on, sharing my real figures with you. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit a like, make sure to subscribe to this channel, which is That 40s Guy. It's my new one. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you in the next one.